that came off, but
W.D. Jones.
Full disclosure, I did not see this, and I did try to open this, too. And this came off, but it's stuck back on. The please do not open should be right here. But of course, even if somebody says please do not open, I'm always like, well. What's going on, everybody? How you doing today? Here I am in Joplin, Missouri. I've been in Joplin once or twice before. Shout out to my friend Aaron who lives here, who I have not been able to get in contact with. Aaron, where are you, my man? Listen, Bonnie and Clyde. I've done a lot of videos on Bonnie and Clyde. I've always wanted to come to the infamous Bonnie and Clyde shootout location. It's right here. And I always thought, well, you know, there's a sign. I'll read the sign. I'll tell you what happened here. That'd be cool. That'll be, you know, neat, and I'll go on my merry way to the next town. No, we're going inside. The town historian, Josh, he's here with me. My friend Joe, who set this all up, he's here with me. We're going inside the shootout location. We're going inside Bonnie and Clyde's hideout. You ready to go? Okay, let's go. Up. So here is the outside of the house right here. I'm gonna come back out and talk more about it. But for now, and there's that sign. I think it's cool that it's a historic site. They have a sign outside. Just because the shootout was here. Lay is milk in French. What's happening back there? So anyway, so I was very angry. Jesus! Go inside and see what's happening. Clyde used to park his car right there. Hello.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Here we are inside. Wow. Bonnie and Clyde. Here we go. We're going inside. That's a modern fridge. Bonnie and Clyde had a microwave. Incredible. What? They were ahead of their time. All right, this is Josh. Josh, I called you the town historian. That's almost true, right?
Sure.
Yeah. You work for the tourism board.
Absolutely.
So we're inside Bonnie and Clyde's
Here we are.
shootout. Yeah. 1933. What was going on?
So April 1st, 1933, Bonnie and Clyde roll into small town Joplin. The city had only been here for about 50 years, and it was just a small, close-knit community. It was average small town America, really. But this was a key location for Bonnie and Clyde to come to because we're right next to Kansas and Oklahoma.
Right.
You could quickly get out and get away and be in another state and lose the police. So They came here, they rented this small garage apartment, and they lived here for almost 2 weeks. So you have Bonnie being very domestic during that time. She's trying to cook and clean and keep house. Mm-hmm. But then you have Clyde and Buck that are playing cards and gambling and getting gun oil in the floorboards.
Who all was here? Clyde, Bonnie, his brother Buck, and her, and his...
And W.D.
One of the Barrow gang.
Yeah, he was a teenager at that time, and he was actually shot here by the police, not killed,
right,
but wounded, and from here on he was injured.
Let's take a look. It's a good sized apartment for sure. It's my friend Joe who set this up. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Scott. Joe from Joplin Mo.
Joe from Joplin Mo has been watching my channel for a while. Invited me here. This is a bedroom there. So, oh, wow. So, Josh, what happened? What went wrong?
So they were keeping really odd hours. They were keeping the windows barricaded up. They were only leaving at night. Very strange behavior for a normal family here in 1933. So about 2 weeks into the time they were staying here, the neighbors called the highway patrol.
Right.
And said, hey, I think there's something going on. These people are probably bootleggers. So they gather forces, 5 different officers. We see Joplin, we see Newton County, and we see the Missouri Highway Patrol. They pull up in 2 cars outside and barricade the door. But the officers weren't really prepared. They didn't have armor. They barely had guns. They didn't know what they were walking into.
They didn't know it was Bonnie and Clyde.
They didn't know.
Who were famous at the time. Infamous, right? They were wanted.
They were wanted, but they weren't known like they were known after Joplin.
Okay.
So essentially, when they pull up, you see the 2 cars block the driveway, and immediately the officer from Newton County is shot. I mean, within 3 seconds of pulling up in front of the driveway.
Shot dead.
Shot dead,
right,
with a shotgun. And immediately the other officers scatter. A gun battle ensues. Blanche, she had a little dog that ran around with her, and the dog ran out the door because of all the commotion.
Right.
And so this gunfire is happening. She's trying to get her dog back. Clyde yells up. They spend 30 seconds gathering supplies. They get in the car and they ram the police cars that are blocking the way.
That was Clyde's. I know Clyde was parked on the left-hand side, which is right below us, right?
That is right.
There would be no garage door at that time.
Right.
So he just backed up and...
He always backed up into the parking space
Oh,
so that
I
he
see.
could
Oh,
quickly
really?
just jet out.
Now,
And he just gunned it and smashed that police car to get through.
is there an entrance to the garage that they would have went through?
Right down here.
Oh, I see. So they went into here, but it would have been wide open, right? But the police just didn't.
I think this is an original door.
I believe
Really?
you're correct.
Oh, wow. So his car is parked on this side, I heard.
Correct.
And then the other car, the gang had to park on the street because somebody else was renting this side. Is that correct?
That's right.
So I just wonder how they had laundry back then too. Cool. So they got in here, but the police were out there. How come they didn't see them get in the car? I mean, you weren't there, I know, but you wonder how they did that so fast.
So the police, as soon as the first officer is shot, the police scatter
Okay.
to get a perimeter set up
Right.
and to try to trap them. And so that gives them the moment to grab very
Right.
small number
Right.
of things, hop in their stolen car,
And Blanche is out there chasing a dog
right.
during all of this as well.
And then 2 officers ended up being killed at this site, correct?
Yes, so Detective McGinnis was actually died here in the
Oh, my
garage.
goodness.
Oh my.
Well, he was shot here in the garage and then
Right.
later died in the
So
the
when they
hospital.
were driving out, did he come in here and they shot this way from outside, or do we know? Or
I don't think we know
We don't think we know.
exactly kind of how that
Right.
tussle went.
But
But right in kind of this area is pretty much where that happened.
wow. What about your feet?
Yeah, they left something behind too. Maybe.
Isn't like we talk? This is something I've said before on my Bonnie and Clyde videos because they're infamous, they're outlaws. People romanticize them, but they were cold-blooded, right?
They absolutely were.
They were killers.
They were killers. And this is where people really learned that. This is the transformative moment between, yeah, they're outlaws. Yeah, we're looking for them. To the entire nation is hunting them.
Right.
Because they have now killed law enforcement. There's photographs of them. This was the first time the nation had seen photographs of Bonnie and Clyde. So now they had a real face.
Right.
Not just some drawing, that looked like anyone.
Detective McGinnis was a Joplin constable, and then John Harriman was a Newton County Sheriff's deputy, and those were the two that
were murdered
that day.
Let's go upstairs and talk about those photographs. How's that? Because that's
right.
like you just said, that's a big thing.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. So there's a couple of photographs of them here. Oh, this is here. So these photographs, are these the photographs that were left behind?
So they are. So when the police came into the apartment, they had of course left a lot of things behind, including guns and a photography bag. So there were a few rolls of film. They were immediately taken to the Joplin Globe and developed overnight so that the next day they were available to share across the entire country.
And the police said, these are them. That's got to be them.
That's them. So
at what point did they realize it was Bonnie and Clyde that had done other things?
They were able to put that together pretty much immediately once they got into the apartment.
Right.
These pictures really were different than something anyone had ever seen, because this shows a playful, fun side to these cold cop killers.
Right.
And, during that time, during the Depression, people were looking for heroes of any kind. Even if they were villains, they were looking for someone
that was going against
that was doing something great.
Yeah.
And a lot of people latched onto this story because of that. And it was these pictures that said, hey, these are normal people. This is a romantic couple that loves each other, even though they're also this terrible thing.
Well, I can tell you, they're not the people that were in the Dream Theater play that came.
Yeah, these are reenactments.
This is
notice the tattoos. I was like, oh.
The tattoos just threw me.
Yeah, so these are reenactments of the photos found here. I see. Okay.
Now this one.
That's why because it doesn't look. She does not look.
That is the real
No,
photo.
this is
that's the real photo.
There.
She does not look like Bonnie that I know. Like the one I've done so many videos. I was looking at her before. Remember when we came in? I was like, is that? That's crazy.
No. I mean, as in this girl and Bonnie specifically.
There they are there. That's, and also I remember that. When I saw that, I was like, wait a minute. There's a car behind them. Historical points of interest. Series of knife marks are in the floor of the living room, which may have been placed there by Buck. Do we know where the knife marks are? Oh, right there. That's where they show them, against that wall. Right? I think.
So they would sit right here at a table and play cards and oil guns and sharpen knives and watch out the window because they could see what was happening right here.
What an existence. Jeez, paranoia the whole time.
For sure.
But
that's really the only life they'd ever known.
Right. So these are knife marks possibly left behind by Buck, who liked.
I mean, Bonnie was a waitress.
He liked to throw it on
in
the
a
floor.
cafe.
Yeah.
Just wanting to get out of Texas, and then Buck came through and said, "Let's go," or Clyde came through and said, "Let's go," and off they went. She was in it till the end.
So there's a bullet hole outside the apartment. Let me take a look at that. And Merle Haggard album, Bonnie and Clyde. Got the restroom here. Take it around, show you some old license plates. Very cool. So Josh, is any of this furniture, do we know, is any of it?
None of it is.
None of it is an original.
No.
None of it is original.
We do. I mean, there are a lot of original features in the
Right.
bathroom. This was where their furnace
Oh, wow.
connected.
So it would have been like a little stove, a wood stove right in this area here. And that would have been leading to the chimney.
Oh.
So that's probably underneath that paint. I'd be willing to bet that's real, original.
You know, of course, all the doors and the hardware is all original.
And this cabinet here would be this and set into the wall.
Wow. Wow, cell phones look different back then too. Yeah. As a Gen Zer, I've never seen a landline before in my life. I don't even know what those are.
Yeah, they were having their groceries and everything.
That came off, but
W.D. Jones.
W.G. Jones.
W.D. Jones was the name of the kid that was with him. He was a teenager at the time.
W.D. Jones. We said
And
Davis.
he was struck by one of the police officers' bullets in the stomach here.
Well, you know the movie of Warren Beatty that came
Yeah,
out
Fade Down the
back
Way.
in day, that really glamorized them and made a lot of people really latch on to the folklore and the Robin Hood mentality of robbing from the rich and giving to the poor.
Yeah.
But
I think Warren Beatty was 40 when he did that movie, or
yeah,
he was a little older than Clyde. 'Cause Clyde was young,
Clyde was young.
but Warren Beatty can do anything. Full disclosure, I did not see this, and I did try to open this, and this came off, but it's stuck back on. The please do not open should be right here. But of course, even if somebody says please do not open, I'm always like, well, but I wouldn't do it here. All right, should we go take a look at that bullet hole?
the bullet hole.
Joe, the bullet hole. There's a bullet hole outside.
There's a bullet hole outside. I think we need to go look at that bullet hole outside. I had no idea.
Yeah. And it would be from the police because it was coming this way. So they were looking out this window onto this street. Look at that.
And then who was downstairs? Clyde?
Clyde was downstairs.
It's like the
And-
Popo's here.
Yeah, he yelled up as soon as they started, and then
You know what he yelled? It's the laws. 'Cause that's exactly how they said it back in them days. It's the laws. For some reason, it was plural.
But they would have kept these mostly down.
Playing cards, throwing
looking? Where's the bullet hole?
I think it's.
Oh, that's it there.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's the one I saw in the photo. So it's all originally outside of it.
It is.
Wow. What does the sign say? I'm dying to read this sign.
Kind of gives an overview. Of
Right. Just what happened. W.D. Jones, yeah. And 13 days. The first publicly seen photographs of the infamous gang. There it is. So it's a 2-car garage underneath an apartment. That's crazy.
Of course, this is the one where Clyde
Yeah.
was parked and just came barreling out and took out the police cars that were out here.
Right out of here.
I wonder
Boom. Making their getaway. So we're talking about the dog. So what happened with Blanche and the dog?
All right, so as the shootout is happening out here, the dog runs out into the road. Blanche is out here trying to collect the dog, knowing that it's time to leave. Once they get in the car, they come barreling out here. There's 2 police cars right in blocking these 2 driveways. They hit one and push it off to the side, and then they roll up right over here where they stop to collect Blanche. They grab her, pull her in the car. They aren't able to get the dog. It stays here, and they take off into infamy.
So you're saying that dog is still out here? Still out roaming these streets to this day?
He's sad.
Oh, yeah, he needs his Blanche. So they went that way, huh?
Yep, they took off this way and then onto the road.
Right.
Of course, none of these houses would have been here at that time. Very few of them. The one behind us.
This neighborhood had started to form by that time. Most of these houses were here, although Ruby Way, I think all of that was built in the 50s and 60s, so going this way was pretty empty.
Mm-hmm. All right, Joe, Josh. Josh.
Joe
Just
Josh.
one person, Joe, Josh.
I'm Joe Josh. I'm Joe from Joplin, Mo.
Joe from Joplin Mo. Josh from Joplin Mo. Thanks a lot. Thank you so
Appreciate
much, man.
you guys.
That was awesome. Come to Joplin. You got to see it for yourself, right?
There's
Right.
so much happening here.
You can stay here. You can spend the night right here.
Yep.
Bonnie and Clyde Hideout.
Look it up. You can get in. You can do it too.
Rest in peace, Officer Harriman and Officer McGinnis.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. That was awesome. All right. Let's go somewhere else.
Thanks.
Peace out. Lay is milk in French. What's happening back there? So anyway, so I was very angry. Jesus!